So as I'm sure most of you are aware, on the 10th of June 2020, the Cloud9 Rocket League roster disbanded. This video is going to go through some of their best moments, including their biggest achievements and also some of their best goals. First though, I'm going to explain the roster situation, so to anyone that is already bored of hearing about what's happened, skip ahead to this timestamp to start looking at their achievements as a team. So I'm sure some of you are wondering who the Cloud9 boys will be playing for now. Well, the biggest news is that Squishy has gone to NRG to replace Turbo, making the roster Squishy, Jstn and GarrettG. Looking at Turbo's tweets, it's obvious that it was not his choice to leave the roster, but he was actually kicked. Personally, I think this is a huge mistake, as he is one of the best players in the world to hold up the midfield and allow Jstn and Garrett to create the space and opportunities. And also, he's the 4-time world champion. Like, come on. You're kicking the 4-time. However, I am very keen to see how Squishy will perform at Energy, as now they're going to be hitting clips left, right and centre. And yes, Squishy is known for his mechanics, but he is also a very smart player, and I don't think it will take them long to adapt due to them being such good friends already. Let me know your thoughts on this roster in the comments, as I'd love to hear them. The other Cloud9 boys, Gimmick, Torment and Fireburner, are currently under the name Rat Enterprises, with Rettles, who did play for the Knights. I'm not entirely sure what will happen with them in the future, but it will be very interesting to see. So enough about the roster changes, and let's look at what Cloud9 achieved. There's only one place we can start really, and that's in Dreamhack Atlanta way back in 2017. This was the tournament that got them noticed and ultimately got them signed by Cloud9. They managed to win Dreamhack Atlanta with no org and take down Galeforce in the grand finals, who we all know was such a tough team to beat at the time. They went under the name the Muffin Men, and on their way to the finals, they managed to take down NRG and G2, two of the top North American teams at the time. They won the grand final in 7 games, and if you don't know the tragic goal that won them the tournament, here it is.
Feet down below the players' feet and their hands are shaking harder than jackhammers. Touch out to midfield, actually go blue
Torment own goal, and you're kidding, there's 17 seconds and it went in.
Oh my goodness. Is that going to be the way?
This was the start of the longest running Rocket League roster in history, who had consistently achieved top results in tournaments and become a heavy crowd favourite, especially to North American audiences. Later on in the same year was RLCS Season 4. This was their first season of RLCS under Cloud9. In league play, they had the joint highest record with 6 wins and 1 loss. This was the same as G2, who was the team that beat them in league play. In the regional championship, they took down NRG 4-2 in the semi-finals and beat Ghost Gaming 4-1 in the grand finals, giving them the NA number 1 seed going into RLCS Season 4 World Championship. It's also worth mentioning Gimmick was the golden striker with an impressive average of 1.12 goals per game. So when LAN came around in Washington, they actually lost their first game to PSG and immediately dropped to the lower bracket. They won their next 3 series though, against Chiefs, Ghost and G2, and found themselves against Method in the losers final, where a certain famous goal was scored.
This was the scoreline in game 3. Cloud9 unable to take it, but Squishy now with he puts it through!
Despite this insane goal, they lost to Method, giving them 3rd place, an amazing achievement and motivation for future tournaments. In RLCS Season 5, Cloud9's league play let them down and they came out with 4 wins and 3 losses. In the regional playoffs, they beat Ghost to get into the semi-finals but lost to G2 4 games to 0. However, they managed to beat Evil Geniuses in the 3rd place match, giving them the 3rd NA seed into RLCS Season 5 LAN after G2 and NRG. Season 5 LAN is arguably the most famous, with Justin scoring the 0-second goal against Dignitas in the grand finals. But we're interested to see what happened to Cloud9. They managed to win their first series comfortably, beating Ren of Vitality 3-0. In their next series, they lost to Complexity 3-1. This was the same roster that beat them in Season 4, which was Method, but this time they were under a new org, Complexity. This put them into the lower bracket, where they managed to sweep Chiefs to play against Dignitas in the losers round 4. Unfortunately, Dignitas managed to sweep Cloud9 and later went on to win that tournament. This left Cloud9 finishing 4th, another respectable achievement, but almost definitely disappointing to them. After Season 5 of RLCS was the 2nd season of the Universal Open, a 2v2 tournament. Gimmick and Squishy represented C9. This was in August of 2018, and 8 teams qualified to play at LAN. Cloud9 managed to beat Double Trouble in the quarters and G2 in the semis, putting them into the winners final. Here, they took down Girls, which was Greasy and Scrub, and played them again in the grand finals. They won the grand finals in 7 games, giving them their first big LAN win under Cloud9. Season 6. You can tell something amazing happened due to the change in music. This was the season that Cloud9 amazed the Rocket League community and showed what they were really capable of. So again, we will start off with league play. Like in Season 4, Cloud9 came out on top of league play with a record of 6 wins and 1 loss. the loss being an upset to FlyQuest. However, although they came out on top of league play, they lost to NRG 4-2 in the semi-finals of the regional championship. They went on to sweep Evil Geniuses, giving them 3rd seed from NA going into LAN. RLCS Season 6 Worlds was hosted in Las Vegas, and in their first series to We Dem Girls, they lost 3-2, dropping them to the lower bracket immediately. This meant in order to win the tournament, they must work their way through the entire lower bracket and win 2 best-of-7s in the grand finals due to the bracket reset. Their first series in the lower bracket was against Tainted Minds, which they comfortably won 3-0, putting them against NRG in their next series. In a very close nail-biting best-of-5, Cloud9 just about came out on top and won 3-2. After this, they had to face Flipside Tactics. Again, they won the series 3-2, now putting them in the losers round 4. This was against Chiefs, and they managed to win the series in 4 games, leading them to face the team that originally put them into the lower bracket, We Dem Girls. However, Cloud9 looked unstoppable, and with some insane display of mechanics, they won the best-of-7 in 6 games. This left them to face Dignitas in the grand finals, a team who had not been beaten in a very long time. To win the tournament, they had to take down the Titans in 2 best-of-7s. As I said before, Cloud9 just looked unstoppable. This was by far the best we had seen Cloud9 play Rocket League, and probably still is, with some absolutely world-class goals coming from them to take the first series 4-1. In the second best-of-7, they instantly brought the same energy and consistency of top-tier gameplay, with more magic coming from Squishy. They won the World Championship, winning the second best-of-7 4-1, taking down Dignitas, ending their win streak. To the people who are new to the Rocket League pro scene, this was just so massive, and ultimately it was the breakdown of the best team in the world, Dignitas. Nobody thought they'd be able to get through the entire lower bracket and win 2 best-of-7s against Dignitas. They went 7 series undefeated against the best teams in the world, and broke the EU streak of winning RLCS. It was just absolute scenes, and probably my favourite RLCS to date. This wasn't even the last time this roster would win a LAN. Just a month after RLCS Season 6 was the E-League Cup 2018. 8 teams were invited and split into 2 groups. 2 teams would qualify from each group. In their first group game, Cloud9 beat PSG 4-3. However, they lost the following series to NRG and was put into the loser final to play Chiefs in a best-of-7. They won this series with ease, winning 4-0. In the semi-finals, Cloud9 took down Dignitas again in a best-of-7 with another 4-1 scoreline. Sadly, they lost to We Dem Girls in the grand finals and didn't play to their usual high standard of gameplay. Overall, this gave them second place in the E-League Cup, a very good result and a great way to end 2018. This leads us to RLCS Season 7. Technically, if we're going in order here, there was a Dreamhack between the NA playoffs and LAN, but we're just going to look through the whole of Season 7 first. So Cloud9 went 4-3 in league play, which wasn't a great result, but it still got them into LAN. In the regional playoffs, they got into the grand finals pretty easily, sweeping both Space Station Gaming and G2. Unfortunately, they got swept themselves in the regional finals against NRG. This was still a very good seed going into LAN. The format had changed, and there were now 4 groups. Cloud9 came out on top of their group, beating Triple Trouble and Low-Key Esports. In the quarter-finals, they were up against FC Barcelona and managed to sweep them in a best-of-5, putting them into the semi-finals. This is where their tournament ended, getting swept by Reno Vitality, who later went on to beat G2 in the grand finals. This gave them a 3rd to 4th placement, as there wasn't a series between Cloud9 and Rogue to see who got 3rd or 4th. The last big tournament we will be discussing is Dreamhack Dallas, which was in June of 2019. There were 4 Dreamhack events in 2019, and they were huge. 32 teams competing over 3 days, with 1 team coming out on top. Again, there was a group format, and Cloud9 comfortably came out on top of theirs, beating Handsome Beavers and Icon Esports. Day 2 was a bit harder for Cloud9, but again they won both their series against the Peeps and G2, putting them into the top 8. In the quarterfinals, Cloud9 swept Complexity and went on to beat Dignitas 4-1 in the semi-finals. This left them to play TSM in the grand finals. They managed to come out of the series 4-2, giving Cloud9 another LAN win. The thing about Cloud9's results is they consistently got into the top 4 in so many tournaments against the best teams in the world. However, this win at Dreamhack was their last LAN win. As mentioned before, there were 3 other Dreamhacks in 2019, all of which Cloud9 came 5th to 8th, and then came along RLCS Season 8. This was without a doubt their worst season. In league play, their record was 2 wins and 5 losses, placing them 7th out of 8. This meant they had to play in the promotion playoffs and risk being dropped to RLRS. In their first game, they beat Chaos Esports, but then lost to G2 in the winners final. Again, they played against Chaos Esports in the losers final, and if they lost, they would be relegated to RLRS. They managed to take the series 4-1 and secured their spot in RLCS Season 9. Season 9 league play was a lot better than Season 8, but still not up to the usual standard of Cloud9. They came out with 5 wins and 4 losses, placing them in RLCS Season 10 due to the outbreak of COVID-19 meaning LAN could not take place. I'm not entirely sure of what will happen, but I believe Gimmick and Torment can still play in RLCS next season with Rattles, as they only changed one member of the roster and the fact they don't have an org doesn't change anything. Thank you so much for still watching the video. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Join my Discord, the link for it will be in the description, and I'm going to leave you some of Cloud9's best moments and goals, so expect to feel some emotions as I am. Personally, I am so sad to see them disband. I don't support any Rocket League teams as such, but Cloud9 were one of my favourites. Let me know in the comments your thoughts, and consider leaving a like on the video if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.
It's time to welcome to the stage the mechanical gods, the boys in blue.
Cloud9 unable to take it, but Squishy now with a daily.
T9 putting on the pressure. Gimmick up high. Gimmick, can he chase it again? He wins. Gimmick shoots. Gimmick scores.
23 seconds now before a sweep will be locked in for Cloud9. Mid-air bump.
You heard them on the desk talking about it. What a play! Are you kidding me? Torma gets this one away. Squishy's airborne, keeping it here in the midfield, giving himself options. He's got an open net in front of him. Puts it underneath. Oh my goodness!
On double commit there, chance for Cloud9 if Gimmick can get a strong shot. Going for the double tap. Can he hit it? Bounces it by the defense. Not there quick enough. Squishy has a chance, going for the double tap himself. Bounces it in as well. Squishy pounces to himself.
He gets
Flip
it.
reset. Can he do it? Squishy moves. Torment finishes it off.
But it's do or die for Dignitas now. Popped up for Squish or Torment. Torment, oh, he gets it!
Quickly Gimmick up for this, but it is played away by Sypical. Torment up for this on the backboard. He has a second touch. Does he have a third? He does! Torment!
Creative, but it wasn't enough. And now Squishy, air dribble pass into the middle.
Oh, you're kidding! Gimmick, right in front, back to Squishy. Squishy off the back wall. Has the touch. Oh my goodness!
Cloud9, though, they answer with some pressure, just can't come away with anything yet. But this time they're finding each other in the middle of the field. Oh!